Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5 takes the series' signature stealth action gameplay and drops it into an open world that's as expansive as it is meticulously crafted. Whether you're a longtime fan of the franchise or diving in for the first time, this game delivers on so many levels it's hard to put down. You play as Big Boss, also known as Venom Snake. Waking up after a 9-year coma following the events of Ground Zeroes, your mission is rebuild your private army and take revenge on those who destroyed it. The story is classic Kojima deep, mysterious, and full of twists that leave you questioning what's real and what's not. But where the Phantom Pain truly shines is in its gameplay. The open world structure is a game changer for the series, giving you complete freedom to approach missions however you want. Want to sneak in under cover of darkness, taking out enemies one by one? Go for it. Prefer storming in with guns blazing? That works too. The game gives you the tool silencers, rocket launchers, even cardboard boxes, and lets you figure out how to use them. The attention to detail is insane. Everything from how you manage your gear to how enemies adapt to your tactics over time feels thought out. Keep using headshots, they'll start wearing helmets. Attack only at night, they'll install more floodlights. It's these little touches that keep the gameplay fresh and make you feel like you're in a living, breathing world. Mother Base, your home base, is another addictive layer. Recruiting soldiers, managing resources, and building up your operations adds a strategic element to the game. Plus, you can visit the base and interact with your crew, making it feel like more than just a menu screen. Visually, the Phantom Pain is stunning. The environments, whether it's the rocky terrain of Afghanistan or the lush jungles of Africa, look incredible. The day-night cycle and dynamic weather not only add realism but also affect your approach to missions. Anyways, so the gameplay is so good that it more than makes up for any narrative shortcomings. The Phantom Pain is one of those games where you lose hours just experimenting with strategies, exploring the world, or messing around with the game's endless possibilities. Whether you're a fan of stealth games, open world adventures, or just brilliantly designed systems, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is a masterpiece. It's ambitious, fun, and endlessly replayable. Kojima's vision may have been cut short, but what's here is nothing short of remarkable. Vanquish. This game is pure adrenaline from start to finish. Imagine a third-person shooter where the action never lets up and everything you do feels like it belongs in a blockbuster sci-fi movie. That's Vanquish. It's fast, flashy, and doesn't waste a second trying to impress you. You play as Sam Gideon, a DARPA agent rocking the augmented reaction suit Rs, which basically turns you into a high-speed, butt-sliding, slow-mo badass. The plot: evil Russians have hijacked a space station to threaten the US, and you're sent in to stop them. It's straightforward, but honestly, it works because the real star here is the gameplay. And oh man, the gameplay. Vanquish isn't just a shooter, it's a sprint. You're constantly sliding into cover, boosting across the battlefield, or diving into slow motion to pull off ridiculous moves. The boost mechanic is genius. You can zip around the map at crazy speeds, closing gaps or flanking enemies before they even know what hit them. Pair that with a bullet time system that kicks in when you're near death or aiming mid-slide, and every fight feels like an action scene you choreographed yourself. The weapons are another highlight. You've got everything from standard rifles to grenade launchers and futuristic tech like the disc launcher. But it's not just about variety, it's about how you use them. You're encouraged to experiment and switch things up mid-fight because staying in one place or relying on the same tactic will get you killed. The environments are classic futuristic sci-fi sleek metallic structures, towering cityscapes, and battlefields full of chaos. It's not a huge variety, but the game keeps the pacing tight by throwing new challenges and enemies your way. Speaking of enemies, the robotic designs are cool as hell, massive mechs, spider-like machines, and everything in between. One thing to keep in mind is that this isn't a long game. You're looking at about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much you die, and you will die. But it's one of those games that's all about replaying levels, improving your skills, and trying out harder difficulties. It's short, but man, it's satisfying. If I had to nitpick, the story's pretty forgettable, and the characters aren't winning any awards for depth. Sam is basically your typical wisecracking action hero, but honestly, that's part of the charm. This game isn't trying to be deep or emotional, it knows exactly what it is and runs with it. Vanquish is one of those games that just gets it. It's fast, intense, and unapologetically fun. If you're into shooters, love high energy action, or just want a game that lets you feel cool as hell, give this one a shot. You won't regret it. Sifu. Sifu is a game that doesn't just test your skills, it demands mastery. It's a punishing yet incredibly rewarding martial arts action game that makes you feel like a kung fu movie star, but only if you're willing to put in the work to get there. You play as a young martial artist on a quest for revenge against a group of assassins who killed your family. The story is straightforward, but it's told with enough style and emotional weight to keep you hooked. Plus, the environments and boss fights bring a ton of personality, making each encounter feel meaningful. What sets Sifu apart is its combat system. It's brutal, precise, and all about timing. You'll block, dodge, parry, and strike with a flow that feels incredibly satisfying when you get it right. Every punch, kick, and counter lands with weight, and the game encourages you to stay calm and calculated. Button mashing won't save you here. The big twist is the aging mechanic. Every time you die, you get older, which makes you stronger but less resilient. It's a genius system that adds tension to every fight. You'll start a run thinking, I can take a few hits, but by the time you hit your 50s, every mistake feels like a huge deal. And the stakes keep rising, and the aging mechanic forces you to constantly improve or face starting over. Visually, Sifu is stunning. The art style is bold and minimalist with vibrant colors and dynamic lighting that make every level pop. Each area feels distinct, from neon-lit nightclubs to serene temples, and the game's use of cinematic camera angles during fights makes every moment feel like it's straight out of a martial arts film. The soundtrack is another highlight, mixing traditional Chinese instruments with modern beats to create a vibe that's both intense and atmospheric. It's the perfect backdrop for the relentless action. Now, it's worth noting Sifu is not an easy game. It's designed to challenge you, and the difficulty can feel overwhelming at times, especially in the early hours when you're still figuring out the combat. But the game's loop of learning, improving, and trying again is what makes it so addictive. If there's a downside, it's that the steep difficulty might not be for everyone. It's the kind of game that rewards patience and practice, but if you're not into that, it could feel more frustrating than fun. Sifu isn't just a game, it's a test of skill and perseverance. It's stylish, intense, and deeply satisfying once you get the hang of it. If you've ever wanted to feel like a martial arts master and don't mind a challenge, this is the game for you. Just be ready to take a few hits along the way, both in the game and to your pride. Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight is the grand finale of the Arkham trilogy, and it's nothing short of epic. Rocksteady pulled out all the stops to deliver a massive, visually stunning, and emotionally charged conclusion to their take on the Dark Knight. This is a game that doesn't just let you play as Batman, it dives deep into what it means to be him, flaws and all. The story picks up with Gotham under siege once again, this time by Scarecrow, who's released a fear toxin that empties the city, leaving it a playground for villains. Scarecrow isn't alone though. The mysterious Arkham Knight, a heavily armed, militaristic adversary with a serious grudge against Batman, joins the fray, and his presence adds an intense, personal layer to the narrative. What sets Arkham Knight apart is its focus on Batman's psyche. The game dives deep into Bruce Wayne's mind, particularly his complicated relationship with Joker, who lingers as a haunting, psychological presence. Mark Hamill's Joker steals every scene he's in, even as a figment of Batman's imagination. It's a bold and brilliant way to explore Batman's guilt, fears, and moral limits. Gotham is bigger and more detailed than ever before, with a sprawling cityscape that's a joy to explore. Gliding through the streets, grappling to rooftops, and swooping down on unsuspecting criminals feels as good as it did in Arkham City, but now it's enhanced by the addition of the Batmobile. The Batmobile, though, is where opinions get split. On one hand, it's a blast to use in high-speed chases and puzzle-solving sequences, giving you a new way to interact with Gotham. On the other hand, the tank combat sections can feel a bit overdone. They're cool at first, but start to drag when they keep popping up as major parts of the story. The combat and stealth mechanics are as polished as ever, with new gadgets and moves that keep things fresh. The enemy AI is smarter too, forcing you to think more creatively when taking them down. Predator encounters where you stalk and incapacitate armed thugs are some of the best in the series, especially with added multi-takedown options. Visually, Arkham Knight is breathtaking. The rain-soaked streets of Gotham, the neon lights, and the incredible detail on Batman's suit and gadgets, all of it looks amazing, even years after release. The dynamic weather and lighting add a lot to the atmosphere, making Gotham feel alive despite being a city in chaos. Ultimately, Batman Arkham Knight is a fitting end to Rocksteady's trilogy. It's ambitious, emotional, and packed with memorable moments. While the Batmobile might not be everyone's favorite addition, the game as a whole delivers an experience worthy of the Dark Knight. If you've ever dreamed of donning the cape and cowl, this is the closest you'll get. Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 is an absolute blasted game that grabs you right from the start and doesn't let go. It's all about stylish, over-the-top action that makes you feel like a complete badass while still throwing plenty of challenges your way. If you love fast combat and big, ridiculous set pieces, this game is the jackpot. The story picks up a few years after DMC 4. There's a creepy demonic tree taking over Redgrave City, and it's up to our favorite demon hunters to clean up the mess. Nero's back, and this time he's got a fancy mechanical arm thanks to a mysterious someone stealing his actual arm. Dante's here too, still rocking his too cool to care vibe, and then there's V, a new character who's all poetry and shadows. The plot itself? It's classic Devil May Cry, chaotic, dramatic, and full of twists. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it hits those emotional beats when it needs to. The combat, though, that's where this game really shines. It's smooth, fast, and so much fun to play. Each character brings something completely different to the table. Nero's got his Devil Breakers, these mechanical arms that let him do all kinds of crazy things, yank enemies toward him, blast them with explosions, or even slow down time. Dante, as always, is a jack of all trades. He's got an insane arsenal, from swords to nunchucks to a literal motorcycle you can split in half to use as weapons, yes, really. And then there's V, who fights by summoning creatures to do his dirty work. His playstyle feels slower and more strategic, but it's a cool change of pace. What makes it so addictive is how much the game encourages you to be stylish. It's not just about winning fights, it's about how you do it. You're constantly chaining combos, dodging at the last second, and switching up weapons to keep things fresh. Pulling off a perfect run where the announcer yells smoke and sexy style is just chef's kiss. You'll find yourself replaying levels just to see how much cooler you can get. Visually, the game is stunning. The re-engine does an incredible job, whether you're admiring the detailed character designs or the disgusting yet beautiful demonic landscapes. The lighting, the particle effects, the sheer level of polish, it's all top-notch. And the cutscenes, they're peak DMC insanity, full of slow motion action and ridiculous stunts that make you laugh and cheer at the same time. And let's not forget the soundtrack. It's loud, intense, and so fitting for the action on screen. Nero's theme, Devil Trigger, is an absolute banger. You'll be humming it for days after you're done playing. This is the kind of game that reminds you why action games can be so much fun. It's flashy, satisfying, and doesn't waste time messing around. Whether you're here to pull off insane combos or just rev a sword in midair because it looks cool, Devil May Cry 5 is an experience you don't want to miss. Get ready to let that devil trigger rip. GOW Ragnarok. GOW Ragnarok is nothing short of epic. It takes everything that made the 2018 reboot so incredible, tight combat, an emotional story, and jaw-dropping visuals, and cranks it all up to deliver a sequel that feels like both a natural evolution and a perfect conclusion to Kratos and Atreus' Norse saga. The story picks up a few years after the events of the last game. Fimbulwinter is in full swing, and the looming threat of Ragnarok, the end of the world, has Kratos and Atreus caught in the middle of gods, giants, and prophecies. Atreus is older now, wrestling with his identity as Loki, while Kratos is still trying to be the dad he never had. Their dynamic is the heart of the game, and it's layered with tension, growth, and genuine warmth. Watching their relationship evolve is just as engaging as battling massive monsters. Speaking of battles, the combat is better than ever. The Leviathan Axe and Blades of Chaos are back, and they feel as satisfying as ever to use. The game adds more depth to your arsenal with new moves, abilities, and shields tailored to different playstyles. You'll switch between weapons mid-fight, chaining together combos and special attacks while managing your positioning. It's fast, brutal, and incredibly rewarding. Enemy variety has been kicked up a notch, with plenty of new foes to keep you on your toes. From hulking trolls to cunning Einarjar warriors, every encounter feels fresh and challenging. The boss fights, in particular, are some of the best in the series, massive, cinematic, and packed with mechanics that test your skills. The world of Ragnarok is stunning. You'll visit all 9 realms this time, and each one is uniquely designed and overflowing with detail. From the icy peaks of Midgard to the fiery depths of Muspelheim, the environments are gorgeous and brimming with life. Exploration feels rewarding, with hidden lore, puzzles, and side quests that add depth to the world and characters. One of the standout aspects of the game is its cast. Thor and Odin, teased in the first game, take center stage here, and they're portrayed in ways that feel fresh and compelling. Thor is more than just a brutish hammer wielder, he's a complex, flawed character with his own struggles. Odin, on the other hand, is manipulative and cunning, a fascinating take on the All-Father. If there's any downside, it's that Ragnarok sticks closely to the formula of its predecessor. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it refines everything to near perfection. Some might find the pacing a bit slow in the middle, especially with side content, but it's hard to fault a game for giving you so much to do. God of War Ragnarok is everything a sequel should be. It's bigger, more ambitious, and emotionally richer than its predecessor, while still delivering the intense, visceral gameplay the series is known for. It's a fitting end to Kratos' Norse journey and a reminder of why this franchise is one of the best in gaming. Whether you're here for the epic fights or the deeply personal story, Ragnarok is a masterpiece. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a fantastic follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order, building on everything that made the first game great while adding enough new ideas to make it feel fresh. If you're a fan of Star Wars or just love a good action-adventure game, this one delivers on all fronts. The story picks up 5 years after Fallen Order. Cal Kestis is now a more seasoned Jedi, still fighting against the Empire but grappling with the weight of his mission and the sacrifices it demands. The stakes are higher, the cast is richer, and the narrative dives deeper into themes of hope, survival, and the blurred lines between light and dark. It's got that perfect Star Wars balance, epic and emotional without feeling overbearing. Now, let's get to the gameplay, because honestly, that's where this game shines. Combat is even more fun this time around. You've got new stances, which basically let you decide how you want to fight. Dual-wielding lightsabers feels fast and aggressive, while the heavy stance makes you feel like an unstoppable tank. Mixing these with your force abilities pulling enemies toward you, slowing them down, or just tossing them off cliffs never stops being satisfying. Every fight feels like a mini Star Wars moment. The planets you explore are next level. They're bigger, more detailed, and filled with so much to do. Kobo is a standout. It's huge and feels alive with its bustling outposts, wildlife, and hidden areas. It's not just a place to run through, it's a world to get lost in. And the Metroidvania style progression is back, so you'll come across places you can't access at first, only to circle back later when you've unlocked a new ability. It keeps exploration feeling fresh the whole way through. Traversal has been seriously upgraded too. You're not just running and wall climbing, you've got a grappling hook now, and you can ride mounts to get around faster. It all feels so smooth, and the platforming sections strike a great balance between fun and challenging. And then there's the customization. This time around you can deck out Cal with different outfits, hairstyles, and lightsaber designs. It's a small touch, but it makes you feel more connected to him as you shape his look to fit your vibe. That said, it's not perfect. At launch there were some performance issues, especially on PC with frame rate drops and glitches. Most of that has been patched now, but it's worth knowing if you're playing on older hardware. But anyways, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is exactly what you'd want from a sequel. It's more of everything, more action, more story, more exploration, and it never loses the magic that makes Star Wars so special. Whether you're swinging a lightsaber or just soaking in the lore, this game delivers. If you haven't played it yet, trust me, it's worth the trip to a galaxy far, far away. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I know I talk a lot about Witcher 3, but man, it's just one of those games that feels like it was made with so much care. You play as Geralt, this grizzled monster hunter who's seen it all. He's looking for Ciri, a girl he's basically raised, who's on the run from these creepy ghostly knights called the Wild Hunt. It's not just a straightforward save the world kind of thing though. It's messy, people lie, betray you, and sometimes there's no good solution to a problem. The world is insane, it's massive, but not in a look how big our map is kind of way. Every place feels alive. You'll wander into a random village and people will be talking about their problems, like how a monster's been attacking their livestock, or there's a curse on their land, and the side quests? they're not throwaways. They're like actual stories with twists and choices that stick with you. One minute you're helping someone, and the next you're realizing you might have made everything worse. It's that kind of game. The combat's good, nothing groundbreaking, but it makes you think. You've got to prep for big fights, like reading up on monsters and using the right tools. It's not just about charging in. Oh, and you've got magic too. Not crazy overpowered stuff, but just enough to feel useful in a fight. The best part though is the characters. Geralt is this no-nonsense guy, but he's not some boring tough dude. He's got a dry sense of humor, and you can tell he cares about the people around him, even if he pretends not to. Then there's Ciri, who's strong but still feels human, and Yennefer, who's complicated in the best way. Even the smaller characters, like the Bloody Baron, have these moments where you're like, wow, this is heavy. It's a long game, and yeah, it can feel a bit overwhelming at times with all the quests and stuff, but it's worth it. It's not perfect, but it's one of those games where once you're done, you'll think about it for a long time after. If you like RPGs and stories with actual depth, you should check it out. It's really something special. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Alright, so Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's like stepping into a blockbuster movie, but you get to control the action. You're Cloud, this ex-soldier with a giant sword and a ton of emotional baggage, and you're thrown into this gritty industrial city called Midgar. Shinra, this corrupt company, is sucking the life out of the planet, literally, and you're part of this scrappy resistance group trying to stop them. Simple setup, right? But it gets deep fast. The thing about this game is how much heart it has. The characters feel so real, like people you'd actually want to hang out with or protect at all costs. Cloud's all moody and distant at first, but you see these little cracks where his emotions peek through. Then there's Tifa, who's strong and supportive, but clearly wrestling with her own fears. Barrett's loud and over the top, but he's got this softer side when it comes to his daughter. And Aerith, oh man, she's this mix of sweet and tough. You just know she's hiding something big. The combat is, well, again, it's not your typical RPG. It's fast and flashy, but you also have to pause and think about what to do next, like whether to heal, use magic, or go all out with a crazy special move. It's a mix of action and strategy, and it feels so good when you pull off a perfect combo. And the bosses, they're huge, over-the-top battles where you're constantly on your toes. But what really makes this game stand out is how it's not just a remake, it's a reimagining. They took the story you thought you knew and gave it new layers, new mysteries, and moments that hit even harder than before. It's like it respects the original but isn't afraid to take risks. If you want a game that's full of epic moments, unforgettable characters, and a world you'll actually want to get lost in, this is it. Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't just a nostalgia trip, it's a whole new journey, and it's absolutely worth the ride. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is one of those games that makes you feel like a true badass commander while also stressing you out about every decision you make. It's the middle chapter of the Mass Effect trilogy, and honestly, it's where everything just clicks. If you're into RPGs with great characters and tough choices, this one's a must-play. You're Commander Shepard, freshly resurrected by a shadowy organization called Cerberus. Long story. The galaxy is under threat from these creepy aliens called the Collectors, who are abducting entire human colonies. Your mission? Build the ultimate team, go on a crazy suicide mission, and somehow keep everyone alive. No pressure, right? The squad is everything in this game. You've got an amazing crew, from Garrus, your sniper bro who's still cool as hell, to Mordin, the fast-talking scientist who somehow manages to be hilarious and heartbreaking. Then there's Jack, a total wild card with a lot of emotional baggage, and so many others. Every character has a deep backstory, and getting to know them feels like hanging out with actual people. Plus, their loyalty missions, some of the best storytelling in the game.
Thank you, Legion. I understand your intent.
The combat is way better than the first game. It's faster, smoother, and just more fun. You can take cover, use crazy biotic powers, and command your squad to do cool stuff in battle. It's still an RPG, so you can level up, upgrade weapons, and customize your abilities, but it's all streamlined in a way that feels super satisfying. The choices in this game, ooh man, they'll mess with you. Do you save the colony or sacrifice it for the bigger picture? Do you trust Cerberus or keep them at arm's length? Every decision feels important, and it all leads to that final mission where the stakes are through the roof. people can die, your team, innocent bystanders, maybe even you. And the way the game handles all this, it's brilliant. It's not just about what happens in this game, it's about how your choices will ripple into Mass Effect 3. Even if you've never played the first Mass Effect, you can jump into this one and still enjoy it, but if you've carried over your choices from the first game, oh boy, it hits even harder. Mass Effect 2 isn't just a game, it's an experience that stays with you, whether it's the story, the characters, or that edge of your seat final mission. It's one of the best RPGs ever made. Simple as that. Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 was probably the most thrilling 12 hours of my life. Everything about this game felt perfect, at least to me. I really love the Uncharted series so much, man. Uncharted 4 is one of the best adventure games ever made. It's not just about shooting bad guys or finding treasure, it's about going on a big, crazy journey that feels like a movie. The kind of game where every moment makes you say, wow, that was awesome. You play as Nathan Drake, a man who used to go on wild treasure hunts, but now he has a normal life. No more danger, no more running for his life, just peace. But then something happens and he gets pulled back in for one last adventure. And this time it feels bigger and more important than ever. It's not just about gold or treasure maps. It's about his past, his future, and the people he loves. And let me tell you, the gameplay is so fun. The climbing feels smooth, the shooting is satisfying, and the stealth parts make you feel like a real treasure hunter. And then they added a grappling hook. Oh man, it changes everything. You can swing across cliffs, escape enemies, and jump into fights like a total action hero. It makes every chase scene feel even more insane. Speaking of insane, the set pieces in this game are unbelievable. One moment you're exploring a lost city, then boom, you're sliding down a collapsing mountain, then suddenly you're in one of the best chase scenes in gaming history, jumping between cars, dodging explosions, and hanging onto a rope while being dragged through the mud. It's pure chaos in the best way possible. But here's what makes Uncharted 4 really special. It's not just action. The story is so good. The characters feel real. They laugh, they argue, they feel human. You care about them. The game makes you think about what's really important in life: treasure, adventure, or the people you love. And the ending? Perfect. It's one of the most satisfying endings in gaming. It doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel rushed, it just feels right. This game deserves all the hype. The action is amazing, the story is emotional, and the whole thing just feels so special. If you haven't played it yet, what are you waiting for? Go play it now. You're in for an incredible adventure. Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is not just a crime story, not just an action game, it's a mix of everything, and somehow it all works perfectly. One moment you're in a serious, emotional gangster drama, the next you're in a karaoke bar singing your heart out, then suddenly you're breakdancing in the streets, running a cabaret club, or fighting a gang of thugs with a bicycle. And that's what makes this game special. It never takes itself too seriously, but when it does, it hits hard. The story is amazing. You play as two characters, Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, two men caught up in the dangerous world of the Japanese underworld. Kiryu is a young, serious guy who wants to prove himself but ends up getting framed for something he didn't do. Majima, on the other hand, is trapped in a world he can't escape, trying to earn his way back into the Yakuza. Their stories connect in ways that keep you hooked, and every twist keeps getting better. The combat is so damn fun. It's a beat-em-up where you just smash enemies into the pavement, and it never gets old. Kiryu and Majima each have multiple fighting styles, and switching between them mid-fight makes every battle feel fresh. Wanna punch people with brute force? Go for it. Wanna use crazy acrobatics and spin-kick thugs into trash cans? Majima's got you covered. The game lets you fight your way, and every hit feels powerful. But the real magic is the side content. This game is packed with things to do. You can play arcade games, run a business, go bowling, race toy cars, gamble, or just roam around beating up random street punks for cash. And the side stories? Some of the funniest, most ridiculous moments in gaming. One minute you're helping a guy win back his stolen pants, the next you're training a shy dominatrix to be more confident. And somehow, despite all the silliness, the game still manages to tell a serious, emotional story. The acting is top tier, the drama feels real, and the characters are unforgettable. One second you're laughing, the next you're sitting there stunned by an intense moment. Few games balance emotion and absurdity as well as this one. Yakuza 0 is one of the greatest prequels ever made. The combat is fun, the story is top-notch, and the world is alive with things to do. Whether you're here for the serious crime drama or just want to do dumb side quests for hours, this game deserves all the hype. Rise of the Tomb Raider. This game is a real adventure. It takes you to dangerous places, makes you fight to survive, and lets you explore ancient tombs filled with secrets. If you ever wanted to feel like a real treasure hunter, this game makes it happen. Lara Croft is stronger than ever. She's not just looking for treasure, she's on a mission to uncover the truth behind an ancient secret. She travels to frozen mountains, deep forests, and lost cities, all while being hunted by a powerful group that will do anything to stop her. The story is full of action and keeps you moving forward, making every step feel important. The world is huge and beautiful. Snow-covered mountains, dark caves, hidden temples. Everywhere you go, there's something to find. You can climb, swim, and explore every corner, and the game rewards you for looking around. There are tombs filled with puzzles, secret artifacts, and lost writings that tell the story of an ancient civilization. The more you explore, the more you learn about the world, and the combat feels fast and powerful. Lara doesn't just use guns, she has a bow, knives, and traps to take down enemies in smart ways. The survival elements make everything feel real. You hunt animals, craft weapons, and gather resources to stay alive. The cold can be deadly, and the game makes you feel like you're actually fighting the elements. And the graphics? Absolutely stunning. Every snowflake, every fire, every piece of ancient stone looks real. Whether you're climbing a frozen cliff or sneaking through a dark jungle, the game pulls you in completely. Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of the best in the entire series and absolutely worth playing for everyone. Control. Walking into the Federal Bureau of Control feels like stepping into a place that shouldn't exist. The walls shift, rooms appear and disappear, and reality bends in ways that don't make sense. Control throws you into a world where the laws of physics are broken and nothing feels safe. You play as Jessie Faden, a woman searching for answers about her past. She arrives at the Bureau's headquarters, a massive building called the Oldest House, only to find it nearly abandoned. The people inside either missing, dead, or floating mid-air like they're stuck in a nightmare. A strange force called the Hiss has taken over, corrupting everything, and it's up to Jessie to fight back and take control. Combat is fast and wild. Jessie isn't just shooting enemies, she has superpowers. She can lift objects with her mind and hurl them across the room, create a shield out of rubble, or even float in mid-air. Every fight turns into a chaotic mess of explosions, debris, and enemies flying across the room. The more powers you unlock, the more you feel like a true force of destruction. And the building itself, it's alive. One minute you're walking down an office hallway, the next the walls twist and reshape themselves, leading you somewhere completely different. The whole game feels like a maze that's constantly shifting, hiding secrets, hidden documents, and strange objects with insane powers. One object might let you teleport, another could cause weird time loops, and some are too dangerous to even touch. The story is deep and mysterious. It doesn't explain everything to you, instead it gives you pieces of the puzzle, and it's up to you to put them together. The world feels like there's so much more happening beneath the surface, with stories hidden in notes, audio logs, and strange video recordings scattered throughout the Bureau. The sound design? Creepy as hell. Whispers echo through the halls, machines hum in the distance, and sometimes you hear things that shouldn't be there. And then there's the Ashtray Maze, one of the best levels in gaming. Walls open and close around you while rock music blasts through the speakers, and suddenly you're in one of the most insane, mind-bending action sequences ever made. Control is unlike any other game. It feels strange, exciting, and completely unpredictable. The combat is smooth, the story keeps you curious, and the world feels massive and full of secrets. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Some games give you quests, waypoints, and a map full of things to do. Breath of the Wild gives you a world and complete freedom. From the moment you step out of the cave, there's nothing holding you back. No one tells you where to go, what to do, or how to play. You just explore, and the world reacts to you in ways no other game does. Climb any mountain, swim across any river, glide through the skies, nothing stops you. If you see something in the distance, you can go there. A ruined castle, a snowy peak, a glowing shrine far away. It's all waiting for you to discover. Trees sway in the wind, animals roam freely, storms roll in unexpectedly, everything feels real. And the best part, there's no right way to play. You can charge straight to the final boss with just a stick, or spend hundreds of hours cooking, hunting, and solving puzzles in hidden shrines. You don't just unlock new abilities, you experiment. Fire burns grass, metal attracts lightning, bombs can launch objects into the air. The game doesn't just give you tools, it lets you break the rules in the best way possible. The combat is fast and fluid. You can parry attacks, dodge at the last second for a slow motion counter, or just drop a boulder on an enemy from a cliff. Weapons break, so you're always looking for new ones, making every battle feel unpredictable. And then there's the story, told in fragments, through memories, ruins, and quiet moments. It's not a traditional Zelda story, it's about a fallen kingdom, a hero waking up after 100 years, and a world that's already lost the war. But in that broken world, there's still hope. You piece together what happened at your own pace, making the journey feel personal.
You must save her, my daughter.
Shadow of the Colossus. This is a quiet, powerful game. There are no towns, no people, no small enemies, just you, your horse, and the giants you must defeat. The world is empty and lonely. You play as Wander, a young man who brings a girl named Mono to a forbidden land. She is gone, but he wants to bring her back. A mysterious voice tells him that if he defeats 16 Colossi, he can save her. With only a sword and a bow, you set off into the unknown. The Colossi are huge. Some walk like giants, some fly in the sky, some swim in the water. Each one is like a moving puzzle. You have to figure out how to climb them, find their weak spots, and strike. There are no health bars or flashy attacks, just you holding on for your life as the Colossus tries to shake you off. The fights feel big and important. When you finally take one down, the music changes, the world goes silent, and something doesn't feel right. You start to wonder, are you doing the right thing? The game never tells you, but you feel it. The world is huge and empty, but not boring. There are mountains, deserts, waterfalls, and ruins, all quiet, waiting for you to pass through. The game doesn't give you waypoints or guides, you just ride, explore, and feel the world around you. The graphics are simple but beautiful, the music is soft and sad, then loud and epic when you fight. The story doesn't say much, but it makes you think and feel. Shadow of the Colossus is not about talking or collecting things, it's about feeling small in a giant world, about fighting creatures that don't seem like villains, and about what happens when you go too far for something you love. Red Dead Redemption 2. Some games are big, and then there are games like Red Dead Redemption 2, games that pull you in so deep that you forget you're even playing. This isn't just about cowboys, shootouts, or open world freedom. It's about life, choices, and watching everything around you slowly fall apart. You are Arthur Morgan, an outlaw with a rough past, a sharp gun, and a heart that's heavier than he lets on. He rides with the Vanderlyn Gang, a group that's not just criminals, they're a family. A group of people running from a world that no longer has a place for them. At first, they're holding onto the dream of freedom, of living outside the rules. But dreams don't last forever. The world is changing, the law is closing in, and trust inside the gang is breaking apart. At first, Arthur is just another outlaw, but as you ride through the game, through long nights under the stars, cold mornings by the fire, and bloody afternoons in town shootouts, you start to see who he really is. A man trying to hold onto something that's already slipping through his fingers. A man who's spent his life running from the truth, until he doesn't have the time to run anymore.
I shall try.
I know you will.
And it has already been said a million times, man, the world of Red Dead 2 is the most breathtaking. It doesn't just look real, it feels real. The way the sun breaks over the mountains, the way the rain soaks the dirt roads, the way the wind moves through the trees. Towns aren't just locations, they're like a real world. You see people working, talking, fighting, laughing. You can stop in a saloon, play a game of poker, rob a train, hunt a bear, or just ride into the wild, listening to the sound of your horse's hooves on the dirt. But the best part isn't what you can do, it's what you feel. The weight of every decision, the way Arthur changes, the way the gang starts to crumble, the way the story slowly tightens around you like a noose. And when the final moments hit, they don't just make you sad, they break you. The kind of heartbreak that stays in your chest long after the credits roll. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just one of the best games ever made, it's one of the best stories ever told.
You're
Alan Wake 2. If you played the first game, you kinda know the deal. Alan Wake, this writer dude stuck in some creepy, foggy nightmare, but this sequel, it cranks everything up to 11. You're back with Alan, still trapped in this dark, twisted place, but now you've also got Saga Anderson, this FBI agent who's poking around Bright Falls, the same spooky town from the first game. And right off the bat, it's clear this isn't just a more of the same deal. The story's got layers and it's not afraid to get weird. So picture this, Alan's been missing for like 13 years since the first game, and he's scribbling away in this nightmare dimension called the Dark Place. It's all shadowy streets, flickering lights, and this vibe like you're stuck in a horror movie he's writing himself. Meanwhile, Saga's out in the real world, or what feels like it, investigating some ritual murders that are straight up grisly. The way these two stories bounce off each other is what gets me. You're flipping between Alan's surreal artsy hellscape and Saga's grounded detective work, and it's like two sides of the same messed up coin. The game's not shy about it either. It's constantly hinting that Alan's words might be bleeding into reality, and that's where the chills kick in. What I dig is how it's not just spooky for the sake of it. Yeah, you've got jump scares and those shadowy taken dudes coming at you with axes, but the story's got heart. Saga's trying to keep her head straight while everything's falling apart, and Alan's just desperate to claw his way out. There's this one moment, no spoilers, promise, where you see how deep the darkness runs, and it's not just monsters, it's personal. The game leans hard into that psychological horror vibe, like a Stephen King novel mixed with a David Lynch fever dream. And the live action bits, dude, they're so out there but somehow work. Like, you're watching Alan on a talk show in his own head, and it's creepy and funny at the same time.
Initiation tells the story of a fictional writer named Alan Wake.
The pacing's deliberate, I'll give it that. It takes its time setting the mood, those rainy forests, the eerie coffee shop vibes in Bright Falls, but when it hits hard. There's this murder board mechanic with Saga where you're connecting clues, and it's satisfying as hell, like you're in her shoes cracking the case. Alan's side gets trippy with these manuscript pages that shift the world around him. Again, no spoilers, but it's wild how it messes with you. Combat's there, flashlight and guns, stuff like the first game, but honestly, it's the story that carries it. It's not for everyone, I'll say that up front. If you're not into slow burns or artsy horror, it might feel heavy. But if you're down for a narrative that's dripping with atmosphere, twists that make you question what's real, and characters you actually root for, Alan Wake 2 is a gem.
There's something I'm forgetting. Something important. I hate gravity!
The Stray. Stray is one of the most unique and unexpectedly emotional story-driven games out there. On the surface, it's a game about being a cat, but it's so much more than that. It's a beautiful melancholic journey through a forgotten cyber city packed with atmosphere, heart, and surprisingly deep themes about loneliness, hope, and finding connection. You're just a small stray cat lost and alone after a brutal fall into the depths of a dying city. No humans, no way back. Just a place overrun by robotic inhabitants trying to make sense of a world that left them behind. As this tiny, determined feline, you'll prowl through neon-soaked alleys, sneak into abandoned apartments, and slowly piece together the story of what went wrong. It's a haunting, beautiful journey told through the eyes of a creature that doesn't need words to leave an impact. The story unfolds not through long-winded exposition, but through the world itself. Faded posters, flickering neon signs, and the melancholic ramblings of the city's robotic residents. Along the way, you'll meet B12, a tiny drone with a big role, translating the robot's language and uncovering the city's buried secrets. At first, B12 feels like just another machine, all logic and no heart, but as the journey goes on, something changes. Against all odds, this little drone and a stray cat form a bond, bringing a surprising warmth to an otherwise desolate world. What makes Stray so compelling is how it tells a deeply human story through a cat's eyes. The city is a haunting reflection of human society where robots have adopted human traits. They form friendships, feel sorrow, and even experience fear. You'll help a robot musician find his lost music sheets, bring hope to a struggling bartender, and help a scientist fulfill his dream, all while exploring this crumbling world with your tiny paws. The game nails the cat experience, making you feel every bit as agile, curious, and mischievous as a real feline. You'll slink through vents, knock over bottles, scratch furniture, and even curl up and nap on cozy pillows. But it's not just cute, it's deeply atmospheric, and every small action carries weight. Jumping across rooftops, slinking through tight spaces, or meowing to distract enemies makes the game feel incredibly immersive. The story's pacing is perfect. It starts off light and charming, but slowly turns darker and more emotional, You'll uncover the tragic fate of the city's humans, learn the robots' heartbreaking backstories, and witness B12's emotional arc, which hits surprisingly hard.
I hate gravity!
Ghost of Tsushima. There aren't many games that make you stop mid-quest just to stare at the scenery, but Ghost of Tsushima does. It's the kind of game where you'll be riding through a forest of golden leaves or across a misty shoreline and suddenly forget you're supposed to be saving your homeland. The world is just that breathtaking. But don't let the pretty flowers fool you. This game will keep you busy for well over 100 hours if you want to see everything. What makes Tsushima so addictive isn't just the gorgeous open world, though it's how alive it feels. You're constantly stumbling onto hidden shrines, freeing villages from Mongol invaders, or following foxes to secret charms. And even though the map is massive, it never feels empty. Every corner has something worth exploring, whether it's a piece of lore, a duel against a wandering swordsman, or a scenic cliff you'll spend way too long admiring. And then there's the combat, which is where the game really gets its hooks into you. It's sharp, stylish, and incredibly satisfying. The duels feel like something straight out of a samurai film, with Jin and his enemies circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When you time a perfect parry and cut your opponent down in one clean slash, you'll feel like a legend, and the stance system adds real depth, forcing you to switch fighting styles on the fly based on your enemy. It keeps the combat fresh and tactical, even 50 hours in. But where Tsushima really eats up your time is in its side content. You'll swear you're only gonna do the main story, but before you know it, you're chasing foxes, tracking down haikus, and wiping out every Mongol camp on the island. Then there's the Iki Island expansion, which adds a new region with tougher enemies, more side quests, and a storyline that actually expands Jin's character. Warhammer 40,000 Spacemarine 2. This game is an absolute adrenaline rush. It's like being dropped into the middle of a heavy metal album cover with you as the star, decked out in your giant ultramarine power armor, and ready to take on hordes of alien nightmares. If you're into games that let you turn off your brain and just revel in non-stop chaos, this is one you're not going to be able to put down. You play as Lieutenant Titus, back again to save the galaxy, or at least what's left of it. This time, the Tyranids are the enemy, and man, they do not hold back. These bug-like aliens swarm you in waves, and it feels like you're constantly teetering on the edge of survival. But instead of fear, the game fills you with this overwhelming sense of power. You're not just fighting, you're dominating, and it's glorious. The combat is where this game absolutely nails it. It's this perfect mix of ranged and melee action. 1 second you're blasting away with your bolter, and the next you're up close, ripping through enemies with a chainsword like some kind of sci-fi barbarian. And the transitions, smooth as butter. It's the kind of combat that makes you want to keep playing just to see how ridiculous and satisfying the next fight will be. The world is peak Warhammer 40k, Gothic architecture looms everywhere, the skies are dark and ominous, and everything feels so massive and heavy, like the weight of the universe is pressing down on you. The Tyranids, on the other hand, are the perfect contrast, grows fast and unrelenting, and the sound design, when that bolter fires or your chainsword revs up, it's like music to your ears if your music taste leans toward explosions and destruction. What really gets you hooked, though, is the scale. The battles aren't just big, they're overwhelming in the best way. You're constantly facing impossible odds, but the game gives you all the tools to tear through them like the walking tank you are. Add in the variety of weapons, abilities, and upgrades, and there's always something new to experiment with. If I had to nitpick, it might be that the intensity never really lets up, which can be a lot to handle if you're not in the mood for full throttle action. But honestly, that's also what makes it so addictive. It's pure, unapologetic mayhem, and it doesn't pretend to be anything else. Warhammer 40,000 Spacemarine 2 isn't just a game, it's an experience. It makes you feel like an unstoppable force, tearing through the universe one battle at a time. If you're into chaotic, high-energy action that doesn't take its foot off the gas, this is a ride you won't want to get off. Astro Bot. This is one of my favorite games from 2024, one of the few newer games released that are literally pure joy, fun, and happiness. This will literally put a smile on your face. So anyways, first off, let's talk about how Astro Bot makes the most of the PS5's hardware. The game uses the DualSense controller in ways that are so clever, it's almost unfair to other platformers. You'll feel the tiniest vibrations as Astro steps on different surfaces, the pull of his grappling hook through adaptive triggers, and even the rush of wind when you're free falling. It's that next level immersion that only Astro can deliver. The gameplay is where Astro Bot shines brightest. It's a perfect mix of tight platforming, clever puzzles, and action. The variety here is insane. You'll be bouncing across planets with low gravity, dodging hazards in volcanic caverns, and piloting Astro in some truly wild set pieces. Every level feels fresh, and the pacing keeps you hooked, always wondering what's next. Visually, this game is a stunner. The art direction is pure PlayStation magic, colorful, polished, and full of personality. Each planet feels like its own little world, with unique themes and mechanics that make exploring a joy. It's playful, vibrant, and brimming with detail that shows how much love went into every corner of this game. One of the coolest parts? The Easter eggs. Astro Bot celebrates PlayStation's history, so you'll spot nods to legendary franchises like Uncharted, God of War, and The Last of Us. These aren't just throwaway references, they're woven into the game in ways that feel thoughtful and fun for fans. It's no surprise Astro Bot has been racking up awards, including Game of the Year in 2024. It's the kind of game that reminds you why you love gaming: pure, colorful fun that's accessible for everyone, whether you're a hardcore gamer or just looking for something to brighten your day. In short, Astro Bot 2024 isn't just a platformer, it's a celebration of everything PlayStation has been building for 30 years. It's addictive, joyful, and an absolute must-play for anyone lucky enough to own a PS5. This little robot might just be PlayStation's best mascot yet. Like a dragon, infinite wealth. So this time, the story picks up right where Like a Dragon Yakuza 7 left off. Our boy Ishiben Kasuga is back, and now the action takes him to Hawaii. Yep, you heard that right. It's a big change from the gritty streets of Kamurocho, but honestly, it's a fantastic move. Honolulu is vibrant, colorful, and packed with life. You've got bustling city streets, serene beaches, and all kinds of quirky characters to meet along the way. The combat sticks with the turn-based system introduced in Yakuza 7, and it feels even better this time around. It's faster, smoother, and just as over the top as you'd expect. You're still pulling off wild team attacks and summoning ridiculous powers, but now it feels like the pacing has been dialed in perfectly. It's strategic but never slows down the fun. Of course, the game wouldn't be Like a Dragon without the ridiculous side content, and Infinite Wealth doesn't disappoint. You've got everything from karaoke to beach volleyball diving missions and some truly bizarre side quests. 1 minute you're helping a stranger solve a heartfelt problem, and the next you're fighting off thugs dressed as giant animals. It's that perfect balance of sincerity and complete madness that makes this series so special. Visually, the game is a step up too. Hawaii looks gorgeous with its sunlit streets, crystal clear waters, and lush greenery. The character models are more detailed than ever, and the cutscenes feel like you're watching a high-budget drama. The shift to a new location breathes fresh air into the series while still keeping everything that makes Like a Dragon feel like home. If there's any downside, it's that some fans of the older brawler-style combat might still miss the fist's first approach of the earlier games, but honestly, the turn-based combat has come so far that it feels like it belongs here now. At the end of the day, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is everything you could want from this series. It's hilarious, emotional, and packed with stuff to do. Whether you're a longtime fan or jumping in for the first time, this game is an absolute blast. Ichiban's journey just keeps getting better, and you won't want to miss this one. Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 takes the series in a bold new direction. It's darker, faster, and way more action-packed than anything we've seen from the franchise before. It feels like a big, ambitious reset while still staying true to the heart of what makes Final Fantasy so iconic: epic battles, memorable characters, and a story you can't stop thinking about. You play as Clive Rossfield, a guy with a pretty rough past who's caught in the middle of a world crumbling under its own weight. Magic in this world isn't just a tool, it's a dangerous resource tied to massive, godlike creatures called icons. The story is loaded with political drama, personal revenge, and plenty of shocking twists. Think Game of Thrones meets Final Fantasy Warring Kingdoms, betrayals, and some seriously heavy moments. The combat feels like a total game changer. Forget the turn-based days, this is pure, real-time action, and it's fast. Clive's moves feel smooth and satisfying with combos that let you mix melee attacks, magic, and special abilities. The icon battles are on another level. You'll face off against these massive mythical creatures in fights that are part boss battle, part cinematic spectacle. It's flashy, it's chaotic, and it's a blast. The world of Velistia looks incredible. Each region has its own unique vibe, from lush forests to desolate wastelands. It's not open world, but the zones are big enough to explore and packed with details that make them feel alive. And the lighting and textures, stunning. It's one of those games where you'll just stop and admire the view every now and then. And the music, wow. Masayoshi Soken's score is a perfect fit. The epic orchestral pieces hit hard during battles, while softer tracks bring a lot of emotion to the quieter moments. It's the kind of soundtrack that sticks with you long after you finish the game. The pacing feels tighter than in some previous Final Fantasy games, mostly because it's not trying to be an open-world RPG, it's more focused, and that makes the story hit harder. That said, some fans might miss the old-school party system or the deeper RPG mechanics, but honestly, the streamlined approach works really well for what this game is trying to do. What makes Final Fantasy XVI so good is how it keeps you hooked. The story is intense, the combat is addictive, and the world feels like it's constantly pulling you deeper in. It's not afraid to take risks, and while it might not be for everyone, it's one of the freshest takes on the series we've seen in years. Whether you're a die-hard Final Fantasy fan or just curious about the hype, this is a game you've got to try. Clive's journey is powerful, and Velistia is a place you won't want to leave. It's a thrilling ride from start to finish. Silent Hill 2 Remake. If you've played the original, you already know what kind of mind-bending nightmare you're stepping into. If you haven't, well, get ready for a game that doesn't just scare you, it gets under your skin and messes with your head in all the best and worst ways. You're back as James Sunderland, a guy who gets a letter from his dead wife asking him to come to Silent Hill. Yeah, dead wife, let that sink in. From the moment you set foot in the foggy town, you can tell something's very wrong. It's eerie, it's unsettling. And the deeper you go, the more you realize this isn't just a spooky town, it's a deep dive into James's personal demons. The first thing you'll notice is how ridiculously good the game looks. The fog isn't just a blurry wall anymore, it's thick, moody, and alive, swallowing the town and hiding horrors you're not ready to face. The lighting is insane, with flickering shadows and dim, creepy glows that make every corner feel dangerous. Silent Hill has always been about atmosphere, and this remake nails it. Combat is way better than the original. It's still not the focus of the game, you're not playing Silent Hill 2 to feel like an action hero, but the updated controls make encounters with Pyramid Head and all the other grotesque nightmares feel smoother and way less clunky. You're not here to win fights, you're here to survive them, and the combat tweaks make that tension hit just right. What really seals the deal though is the sound design. The unsettling music by Akira Yamaoka is still here, and it's just as spine-chilling as ever. The random creaks, whispers, and distant screams. They'll keep you looking over your shoulder, even when you know it's just a game. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Does it do anything new? Not really. This remake sticks close to the original almost to a fault. It doesn't reinvent Silent Hill, but honestly, it doesn't need to. The original story and vibe were already masterpieces, and this remake gives them the polish they deserve. If you're looking for pure psychological horror, this is it. It's not about jump scares or cheap tricks. Silent Hill 2 gets in your head and makes you think about things you'd rather not. It's creepy, it's emotional, and yeah, it'll probably leave you feeling a little off for a while. So, whether you're a longtime fan ready to revisit Silent Hill or someone curious about why this game is so legendary, the remake is absolutely worth playing. Just, don't play it late at night or alone. Trust me.